Been a while since we've had a good Greenskins stealth blob build, and here we are with the Greenskins and the Night Goblin Great Shaman casting Night Shroud on this giant blob of stuff. This replay submitted by the High Elf player here, Michael on, on Discord. Sal here in game. We've got the Black Orcs and the Broken Tusk Mob, lots of Savage Orc Boar boys. Yeah, 3 Black Orcs. Mangy Marauders, the Hammer of Gork, Catapult, a Goblin Big Boss, and of course, Goblin Great Shaman himself. 1 regular Goblin Spear, a couple of Goblin Spears here, not hidden, and of course the Night Goblins already stocked will be hidden as well on the advance against this Elven army. A couple of Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers will be counteracted heavily by all these units being hidden. We've also got a front line of some Spearmen. We've got a couple of White Lions here. Tyrion leading the way with some Silver Helms on that side. And the Fireborn and the Mage out on this side. Archers light armor, like I said. Let's see, as things get rolling, you can see already units starting to get discovered, but what this is going to do is it forces the Greenskins to kind of hot redeploy, like at the start of the battle here, which they're able to do somewhat successfully, and also just, basically prevents like attack orders, pre-attack orders, or it forces the High Elf player here to have to react very quickly to those stealth units being discovered. Like here, even the Goblin Great Shaman just now getting discovered. It's a little bit terrifying, this massive stealth spider popping into existence. And he's going to move in and try and take out Tyrion, of course, with that anti-large AP, very strong stats on the spider. Definitely can do so. Meanwhile, the Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers pounding away at the Night Goblins here. One is also counterfiring the Hammer of Gork, trying to take out that artillery, so they can't spread around that blinded debuff. Over on this side, it looks like these Fireborn got into an engagement against some Savage Orc Boar boys. Here, I think they tried to countercharge the Savage Orc Boar boys, but I think there might have been a slight misclick, because it doesn't look like they actually got their charge animation. End up taking a huge amount of damage here, kind of getting sandwiched between these 2 armor-piercing boars. We do see a regrowth there to try and stabilize things. The archers may be coming to support, but it looks like goblins starting to filter through and get on them. And just now the wall being popped all across the field. Massive power surge for all Greenskin units as Tyrion moves back to try and defend the Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers. Looks like the Broken Tusk Mob are going to go shut them down. Pretty expensive unit to be allocating for that purpose, but still better than just letting them sit online and pop Goblin Great Shaman, right? Definitely need to shut these units down as a win condition. So Mangy Marauder is also firing into the back of Tyrion as he takes attacks from the Goblin Great Shaman, who juiced himself up with a sneaky stabbing. A little bit of extra armor piercing damage and melee attack never hurts against a fearsome combatant like Tyrion. Getting absolutely smoked right now. Going to be looking for that Heart of Avalon proc to try and stabilize things. But let's see. Yep, looks like he does get it before he terror routes, so he'll continue fighting there. But still a very unfavorable engagement for him. Taking a look at the rest of the battlefield here. The Fireborn actually, with that regrowth, were somewhat able to stabilize. The Savage Orc Boar boys still have the best sustained combat stats in comparison. 53-52. The Fireborn are definitely just superior in that way, so another WA power spike, though, might change things. Infantry engagements also not going terribly for the High Elves, all things considered. The White Lions will be trading badly with the Black Orcs while WA is active, but when it's not, actually portrayed fairly decently overall. Not to mention the Bolt Throwers have been putting a number on the Goblin Great Shaman, slowly working him down. He is getting pretty beat up at this point, and, you know, credit to the High Elf player here, able to keep his Bolt Throwers online, but at this point things are looking pretty tough. Got Mangy Marauders making contact here, Broken Tusk Mob again once more, and there's not really much that can account for them to try and rout them off. We got the archers being routed here, and Tyrion himself is being debuffed by the Goblin the Big Boss here. They need stabbing, lowering his melee defense. Of course, he pops his own buff, so he's still about 100 on attack and defense stats while that's active. So, yeah, little bits here, but anyway. Yeah, the High Elf army is looking pretty tattered right now. It's looking pretty scary for them in terms of an overall battlefield situation. But the Fireborn did just prevail in that engagement, and they've still got their life mage alive, meaning they can potentially get something done here, especially as the Goblin Great Shaman kind of gets out in front of his support units. He's going to take the charge here, although he does immediately pop sneaky stabbing on the Broken Tusk Mob that rush in for support. We're going to see a regrowth also on the Fireborn immediately. trying to keep their models alive here. There's only 16 of them left, so it's going to be pretty tough. But let's see if they can make some kind of an impact at least. Tyrion, did he get finished off there? Nope, he is getting chased off, though, by the Goblin Big Boss. Excellent use of this very fast kind of assassin-type character. Not on the Spider, just on the Wolf, which, again, gives him 92 speed. He's able to keep up with Tyrion and actually chase him off here. Getting a few little cheeky attacks there. But, yeah, Broken Tusk Mob actually losing out to the Fireborn in the long term as the Goblin Great Shaman kind of re-engages here, disengages, going to turn around and try and go in for another charge. Let's see if the Fireborn are able to get through that armor with their armor-piercing damage. Oh yeah, Goblin Great Shaman does pop Crown of Command on himself to make himself unbreakable, and it's just enough to actually rout the Fireborn with terror. Will the Life Mage actually finish him off, though? He's down about a 300 HP, gets a couple of hits on the Life Mage, which is going to be enough to terrify her away, and that triggers army losses. So, you know, nice game, honestly, both sides. Big thanks to Sal for sending in a loss. Not a lot of people are brave enough to do that, but he certainly did, and it's a fun one for sure. I love that Stealth Blob Greenskins build. It's also nice to see a Greenskins build where Black Orcs actually do all right. They're maybe one of the worst infantry units for, probably one of the worst, maybe? I don't know. It's hard to say. It's very situational, let's put it that way, for the Greenskins, but certainly the Goblin Great Shaman was able to get a lot of value on his mounts, not to mention, you know, between the stealth move at the beginning and just getting a lot of value in combat as well. Pretty good stuff. The Savage Orc Warboys also generally traded fairly well. 1800 on the Broken Tusk Mob, also pretty good stuff. 1100 on the Mangy Marauders also, just kind of nice value spread around here. Tyrion, unfortunately, just a little bit overmatched, even though the Infantry of the High Elves did decently, trading all right. Same with Archers with light armor. Fireborn, despite getting kind of an unfavorable engagement, were able to also pay back some really nice value. 14,000 damage dealt. Pretty good stuff. Both throwers pretty much pay for themselves, so it was pretty close, all things considered. If Sal had been able to finish off the Goblin Great Shaman before he lost out on his own leadership, it's definitely possible he could have got some leadership routes. Obviously, not having any terror does hurt against the Greenskins, and with the High Elves, it's a little bit tricky because it's hard to actually take terror for a reasonable cost, right? I mean, your cheapest unit with terror innately is the Flamespire Phoenix, which is going to be pretty expensive and not the best combatant in really, like, tough melee matchups. It's a decent combatant, and certainly the terror can help, but 1350 for that is not super cheap. Another option you could consider is just to take a Lore of Death Mage with nothing except Aspect of Dread Knight. Still 500 points, not the cheapest. Well, I guess 400 if you're gonna not take Life Leeching, although maybe you should if you are spamming this Aspect of Dread Knight. Hard to say. At the very least, minimum 400 points for this extra bit of terror, which is not nearly as much, but it is still a decent amount to have to spend. You know, but I would say well worth it against the low leadership factions like the Greenskins, even though that build specifically, because it had a lot of Black Orcs, had the Unbreakable Goblins, might not have been as susceptible to terror. Just overall would have been pretty good. Not to mention, this kind of the final thing here, the weakness, the biggest weakness of the Goblin Great Shaman, in my opinion, is his leadership. That's why Crown of Command is such a good item to take. But, yeah, 65 leadership on a big monster like this for a big expensive lord is not a lot, so he definitely can be routed in certain situations. Unfortunately, that one he wasn't able to, but hey, that's why you play the games, right? Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.